Under the Feedbacks Settings submenu of the Setup tab, you've got a lot of important settings that you need to configure for the first time, and then you are all set. By default, we set the limit of days to 60, which is basically 2 months. And what the limit of days means is that this is a setting for customers that are returning to a business that have already been sent the initial feedback request. Now, if you're testing the system, you would want to set this to 0. If you don't want to send feedback requests out to your customers too frequently, you can actually set this all the way out to 180 days. So no more than once every 6 months. Feedback thresholds. This is important because this is actually a system-wide functionality that once you set it once, you're probably never going to touch it. By default, we actually do it to the setting of 4, which we consider a 4 or 5-star equivalent rating positive or good, and a 1, 2, or 3 negative. Now you can go in here, you can select whichever one you want. Some people accept a 3, other will only want 5s, but by default it's set to 4. With the number of automated email attempts that you're going to send out during the email funnel, which we'll get into some funnel options here in just a little bit later in this video. This is the number of email attempts that you'll set up. We recommend no more than 2 or 3 total, but we give you the option of up to 7. And then the email frequency is the number of days in interval that you would like for those to be spaced out. So we're doing 1 email 1 day apart, but if we did 2, so we basically do 1 today and 1 tomorrow. And then obviously you set that number out to 7 days apart. We recommend keeping it no more than 2 to 3 within a 1-week period. After that, you're either being ignored, it's not being delivered, or you're frustrating the customer. Once the customer leaves feedback with our follow-up feedback emails, which we'll cover here later in a separate video, you want to send about 1 to 2 follow-up attempts. You don't want to do anything after that. We send out 1 immediately after the customer we receive feedback from the customer. As you can see here, we have 1, 2, or 3 selected, as well as a do not send follow-up sequence option. The reason why that is in there is for some API integrations that we have where other CRMs or other platforms don't want us sending the follow-up sequence. They actually want to report that data and then push it out there. If you have any questions on your API, talk to the agent that set you up within your account, and our staff will be able to help you with that. Post feedback email frequency, same thing. The email basically no more than every 1 to 2 days is the way we've set that. We've restricted that limit. Now down here you'll see mobile settings where you can have the rating type, which is 5-star with comments, which is our default, and the feedback emails are set up right here that you can manipulate, and that will be in a separate video. But now we also have 5-star, yes, no, or NPS. Let me show you what that looks like. So I just opened up a slide deck that shows you the feedback settings page that we're on right now. When we talk about mobile feedback funnel options, you can see that this is your basically 5-star with comments. This is the one that's built into the system. We had that since day 1, where they basically just click here to submit their feedback. But more and more customers on mobile now, you're actually able to check them in, walk them through the process, and do it right there where they'll be able to receive the email, or in a case in just a few minutes I'll show you some other options inside of this video. But you also have the ability to do yes, no, NPS score, or 1 through 5 stars. When they tap on one of these, they are redirected based on what their response is and what your feedback thresholds are. Now, what this looks like in a regular email, as you can see here for James Bob Dental, is it's set down for mobile. So if you're using this, you are primarily expecting your customers to use mobile. It's an HTML email, and it's got your business name and information up top. You can actually put in some content in here, which I'll show you in another video, and they would then click on yes, no from this case. So that's the mobile settings. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to show you the next step underneath mobile settings that may be enabled in your account based on your location or your account level. Okay, so now I'm inside of an account that has text messaging or SMS enabled inside of it. So once you're inside of the account with this active, you can see that we have the ability to enable or disable SMS messages. By default, it's turned off to no. And then you've got the rating type that you're requesting. So 5 stars with comments, which is the default. 5-star like we showed you, yes, no, and then NPS. We already covered those. You can enable a delay for the email and or the SMS to go out. So if you enable a delay, it will be set in hours. You can start at 1 hour and go as long as you want from there. So for 5 days, it would be 120 hours. For one day, it would be 24 hours. It is not exact to the minute. It's when the system runs the job, but it's within probably about 5 to 20 minutes of that actual delay that you're setting. And then now you have the ability to do multiple. You can do SMS only, email only, or SMS and email as your feedback request method. We recommend to start doing SMS and email, but a lot of people like to go direct to SMS only and yes/no as their default. That seems to work really, really well for a lot of businesses that are trying to get reviews posted online fast. Now, instead of me opening a bunch of pages and going through things randomly, what I did was actually just create another quick little slide presentation to show you. So the way this works really, really well when you have SMS enabled is to use the external, we call it mobile check-in form. And in another video, I'll show you how to create a quote-unquote app that you can download to your mobile device or browser. This is our external quick add form, which you'll see in the next video, and it's the same thing as the mobile check-in. The one on the left here could basically be on a desktop, or it can be used on a tablet, but basically it's a fully mobile-ready page, so it will scale down appropriately from a web browser all the way down to your mobile device. Once that customer is checked in, or they're checked in and the delay has expired. So if they're visiting your office and you don't want to send it until after they leave, which may be for 30 minutes or an hour or 2 hours from now, you can set that delay and check them in. You can have them self-check in at a table at a restaurant, or maybe at a closing at a real estate transaction or something like that. Once they're input in the phone, they're input into the system, they put in basically all we require is the first name, email, and or cell phone address. We recommend that if we can get your first, last, email, and phone, that's perfect, but the requirements, really the minimum, is first name and or email address. We basically need an email or cell phone to start this process. They select the employee. They can check this, or you can check it saying, hey, I'm going to be sending you a request here. Are you good with that? Click on the button, and then that will instantly send them a text message right to their phone, as well as an email, just like we showed you earlier just a few moments ago in this video. If you selected SMS and email, they will get both. Once the customer then clicks on this link, they will be taken to the feedback page of your choosing. Now, a couple things that you'll notice here is that yes, no is not on this page. I'll show you that here in a minute. And it's a little offset from what the actual settings were. So you've got 1 through 5 stars, submit, the NPS score, which is right here, and you can see this is fully mobile responsive. This opens up right there on their phone, and it's a little bit different than those emails. What's really important here is if you have SMS enabled, the 1 through 5 stars with comments, if they're doing it right there on a mobile phone through the text message, this is a different page altogether. They can actually scroll and go 1 through 5 or even 4.5 stars in this case, and then they can type in the content. The reason why yes, no is not on here, because I'm going to demonstrate the entire SMS feedback funnel for you right here during these slides, because it's quick and easy. And it works on any mobile-enabled device that a text message gets delivered to. Now, some AT&T and T-Mobile phones may have some deliverability problems, and you can talk to our support team after that. But that's one of the reasons why we primarily recommend you starting with SMS and email. So let's say that somebody clicks on yes, they would recommend us. We then take them to a page where we have one of our review site promotion options, or multiple of them right there on the spot. If they click on Google, they are taken to the page link that you've included in Google to leave a rating or review. If they click on Yelp and they have Yelp established on their phone, they've downloaded it as an app, we actually open up the app so they can easily go to the post or review page. If they have Facebook as an option, or if you have Facebook as an option and you've connected everything to your account, it will actually take them directly to the Facebook page inside of the app. It'll have a little pop-up and try to load it for them. They'll click right here on the view reviews, and then they can leave a review right there on the spot. Now, what happens if your customer selects no thanks? They're not happy with you. Well, what we've done on mobile is the same thing we did on the desktop pages, which you'll see here in the next video, is that We basically send them to a mobile page where they can leave us comments and let us know what went wrong and how we can improve our business. And then they click on submit, and you get the alert immediately based on the settings that you set in your admin settings. And again, once you set these up once, you can pretty much set it and forget it and leave this menu as you're generating new feedback and reviews for your business.